In this video we'll be concerned with the manager, looking at the roles of the manager and the nature of the manager. What are the functions of the manager? What are the attributes of the manager? So first of all, the manager has the capability to innovate, initiate change, and is involved with designing new products. The manager inevitably will be consulted in the design stage for products, because the manager has an expertise both in terms of perhaps the history of the organization, what products were successful, what products didn't do too well in the past, and also, and crucially, the production capability of the organization to make the products and to sell the products, to distribute the products, and so on. So the manager will be in almost a unique position to know what the skills and competencies of the workforce are, what are the technical processes that are possible within the organization, what machinery and plant is in place. So the manager is someone almost in a unique position within the organization who can be involved in many stages in the design of new products. Now, in terms of the service sector, the manager is also privileged. The manager will understand perhaps the routines of the office, will know what the skills and competencies of the employees are within the office framework, will know what software is being used and the sequence of events that need to be carried out in order to have an effective delivery of a product or service. So it doesn't matter if it's within manufacturing or within the service sector, the manager plays a vital role in the development of new products and initiating change and developing the organization, and is also involved in the design stage, in the consultative process that is undertaken by the organization when thinking of changing or innovating a product, or perhaps even bringing a new product to market. The manager is also in charge of the controlled change within the organization. It's the manager who knows what needs to be done, what adjustments need to be made to the organization over time, what new processes need to be brought in, what new innovations need to be adopted and put in place. The manager is the person who understands the organization fully and understands what is required for efficiency and for overall effectiveness. In other words, to position the organization so that it can gain a competitive advantage over its rivals. So the manager needs to know what are the plans of the organization, the strategic plans. Needs to know what the budgets are for within the various sections of the business. It needs to know what are the obstacles to change. But with this in mind, the manager can then set about organizing the business in a way that meets the requirements of the senior management. Any flaws or gaps that can be improved on are identified. Improvement programs can be developed. So the manager is constantly on the lookout for issues, for problems, and trying to resolve the problems, working out why the problems arose, and putting in remedial measures to fix the problems and to ensure that these problems don't arise again in the future. The manager has the power to allocate responsibility to reliable subordinates. They may have the power of delegation. The manager may be trusted to pick out some workers and delegate to them certain responsibilities, but also to supervise and support subordinates, to supervise work groups and to organize work groups and organize production around efficient practices, and support those groups in their efforts to both learn new techniques and become adept at certain production methods and ways of working and so on. So the manager is in a supportive role, teaching the workers how to work effectively, supporting them, encouraging them, and leading by example, showing them how to do it. Also the case that the manager may be seen as a disturbance handler. Effectively resolves problems within the organization. When problems arise, it could be HR problems, it could be some of the workers are unhappy about some changes, or they feel that they are not being valued by the organization. It can be some very humanistic or human issue, and the manager can deal with this face to face. The manager can deal with the issue, find out exactly what the problem is, and try to resolve the problem. So the manager is looking at the disturbance, what is the issue, and trying to handle the disturbance, trying to resolve the issue. The manager takes charge when the organization experiences unexpected changes. Sometimes the environment changes. The environment, the wider environment, impinges on the organization. It could be the government levies a tax on some particular process, which may necessitate the organization to change its production processes, to perhaps avoid the tax by not engaging in certain routines or certain works. For example, the government may want to encourage organizations to go green and to stop emitting carbon into the atmosphere. This may need quick thinking on the part of the organization to try and find substitutes, find alternative sources of energy, or to find alternative ways of working. And the manager can be involved very quickly on this one and can take a lead on it and negotiate very quickly with alternative suppliers of energy and so on, and try and find a way around it, find a different route. And all the time reporting back to senior management, keeping them informed of what's happening and so on. But the manager can operate very quickly in these situations. Generally speaking, the example I gave, of course, would be well known in advance, and the company would have contingency plans perhaps for that particular eventuality. But the point I'm trying to make here is that the manager can respond very quickly to unexpected changes and to deal with the unexpected changes in a way that ameliorates or reduces the impact on the organization. The reasons for these disturbances may occur due to staff or resources or threats or other mistakes. So there can be disturbances within the organization due to a lot of factors. People working with people and having disagreements, that may lead to an issue. It could be a shortage of certain items that are needed for production, which causes a problem, particularly if workers are on piecework. They're getting paid by the amount they produce, and there's not enough resources going to them to continue producing, so their incomes will fall as a consequence. It could be the threats of industrial action, or the threats of something in the environment which will impinge upon the organization. Whatever it is, the manager is in the position to get involved and to try to get rid of the issue, to sort out the issue, to sort out what is likely to happen and bring about a solution. Management role here involves working on their own initiative, resolve the matter, evaluate, and take corrective action. Of course, all the time reporting back to senior management, but the manager could take the initiative, try to look at the issue, whatever the problem is, try to resolve it, try to find a way around it, then evaluate what happened and try to work out what caused it and what the solution was, and take corrective action. And also note that should this arise in the future, then the mechanism to resolve it was this particular set of processes. The manager is also a resource allocator. The manager allocates resources including money, staff, materials and time. The manager may hold a budget and be responsible for a particular part of the business. So they have to make sure that there's good stewardship of the resources and of the capital of the business. So out of the budget will have to be paid the staff who are involved and the materials and the time, and also perhaps some contribution towards the overheads if they're apportioned. So the manager has to allocate resources in an efficient manner to ensure that the organization continues. But the manager could be responsible for scheduling time of usage for certain machines, or time for staff to work on particular problems, or just the scheduling of work through the department. And they could program the work so that certain items are produced in certain batches or at certain times, and other items are produced at a different time. So they're programming the work and the way that the department operates. They can also authorize action. They could authorize certain processes to start or shut down certain processes at certain times. Their overall requirement and their overall desire is to ensure that the particular section runs efficiently and meets the requirements of the overall organization. Managers have the ability to make models and plans in their own heads in order to evaluate processes. The managers should be able to work out what's the best process, what's the best way forward. And when issues arise, they should be able to think around the issue to ensure continuity of production, continuity of work within the department, whilst at the same time addressing the breakdown or whatever the issue is and resolving it. But whilst they're in the process of resolving it, work can continue. So they should have the ability to be able to think round issues where possible. They're also negotiators. This role is linked with the spokesperson, the figurehead, the resource allocator roles. The negotiator is someone who tries to find a solution, tries to come between, in a sense, what the organization is willing to offer and what, let's say, the employees want. So the manager is the go-between. The manager is the person who tries to resolve any dispute between two sides, tries to negotiate an agreement which will enable work to continue, enable the business to continue. This role encourages important negotiating activities with other parties and organizations. So the negotiator role may not be confined to within the organization. Sometimes managers may negotiate with other organizations. For example, buyers who are managers within businesses may negotiate with suppliers of raw materials and components. They may negotiate prices and negotiate deliveries and terms. And the business trusts them because they have an expertise in doing this. They are professional. So the business relies on their expertise to get a good deal for the business. The aim for this role is to secure resources and the arrangements of favourable conditions from others. So as a negotiator, managers may negotiate with outside suppliers for resources or for services and try to get the best deal for the organization. Excuse me. Generalist and specialist management. Well, Mintzberg recognized that managerial roles may be either generalist or specialists. There could be an overall operations manager, for example, a plant or divisional manager. That's someone who's got overall responsibility for this part of the organization. And then there can be managers for specific functions. For example, the stores manager. So we can have this type of division in managerial roles between generalist, someone who's looking over the whole organization and trying to manage the whole organization, and the specialist, who will do particular functions and work on particular areas within the plant. So these are some of the functions of managers, and it's important to understand these and to understand the importance of the manager in dealing with suppliers and as a negotiator, but also as someone who leads and who's able to inspire the workers and resolve problems when they arise and so on. Be able to plan the functions of the department and manage the budgets. And so it's important to understand what the managers do, and it's recommended that you do some research in this area and go back and look at the managers and try and dig out some material on what managers do and make a list for yourself of the importance of managers, the functions of managers, and the issues that managers confront most frequently, perhaps. And possibly amongst those will be dealing with the people in the plant, within the division or within the department that the manager is working. So it's important to have notes on these. So highly recommended that you go back and research these points. But that's all we're going to deal with in this session. It's quite a short class, but nonetheless important because it focuses in on the role of the manager. That's all we're going to do for now, so let's leave it at that and say thank you for watching.